Welcome to Nimbin, a place known for its activism and something else too.
People have known for 50 years you could come to Nimbin and buy a bit of weed, but Nimbin's much more than cannabis. You know, there's a whole lifestyle that goes with getting back to the earth.
The Northern Rivers town is home to the Legalise Cannabis Party, and its president can usually be found here at the Hemp Embassy.
I can't explain the magic of how cannabis works, but it's like you got to stir up a muddy pool and you leave it alone for a minute, it'll all settle and you can see clearly.
The party is pushing for cannabis decriminalisation, a moratorium on arrests and fairer drug driving laws so impairment, not presence, is tested.
We need to then open up dispensaries and be able for people to go and access it from a retail store, just like it's happening all over America and Canada. I've been to both and it's like just no big deal.
While medical cannabis is legally available to patients with prescriptions, recreational use remains illegal across most of Australia, except in the ACT, where adults can possess up to 50 grams and have 2 plants each. Research also shows that around 50% of Aussies support the legalisation of growing cannabis at home.
I'd be just terrible if that's not legal within 5 years, and it might be quicker. Maybe a year or two. It's so political and it shouldn't be political at all, you know, this is a health issue.
The party currently has 4 sitting members across the country, and at the last federal election it received 2 to 7% of the Senate vote in most states and territories, just missing out on a seat in Queensland to Pauline Hanson.
We got 500,000 votes in the last federal election, which is a fair chunk, and I hoped politicians would look at that and say, wow, it's important for a lot of people, you know, but they haven't. So if we could put someone in Canberra, surely they'd start to take notice.
Legalise Cannabis also achieved one of its best results in Queensland's state election last year, receiving an average of 4.96% of the primary vote in the 29 seats it contested. Labor also told voters to preference the party second in most electorates.
It's a stunning result given that I assume that they had virtually no money for advertising. I don't know if it'd be fair to say it's an achievement for that party. I think it is more accurate to say it is a reflection of support within the community for that idea. They had a swing to them in Queensland and they came 7th, but there's no prizes for coming 7th in a Senate race because there's only 6 spots.
The party is planting its roots ahead of the federal election with Senate candidates nationwide.
In a lot of states in Australia, there really is this sort of rock-solid support of about 5% of voters who will vote for a party that has the name marijuana in the title.
Belinda Jones is vying for a spot in the Senate. She was drawn to the party after medicinal cannabis cured her back pain.
They believe in personal freedoms, bodily autonomy, civil liberties, social justice. How are you? I'm Belinda Jones. Nice to meet you. Have you heard of Legalise Cannabis before?
I mean,
You've heard of it, I've heard of it.
Yeah,
I'm all for it, 100%.
Yeah. Have you heard of us before?
I certainly have, yes.
Wonderful.
Belinda says if she's voted into the Senate, she'll campaign for federal intervention on the housing crisis, more support for veterans and changes to how authorities tackle crime. But the highest priority on her agenda is cannabis.
We will give people the choice when they come home after work to have a beer or have a joint. And just by having that choice, we think it will reduce alcohol-related violence and possibly DV. It won't fix these complex problems by any means. We're not saying that, but it may help. I have find about 2.2 million Australians or more have been on medicinal cannabis. And now we're asking to legalise it so that the criminal element is taken out. We're not going to go in there like a bull at a gate. We're going to be respectful and let as many people benefit from this legalising cannabis as possible.
But is that sentiment enough to sway voters?
Everyone needs to be chilled. It's better than alcohol.
So you would vote for the party?
Yeah, why not?
Decriminalisation, sure, maybe, but I'd want other things to be achieved that would be further up the priority list, I guess.
I don't think the minor parties can do much.
I've been waiting for cannabis to be legalised for 1,000 years.
I believe they only want to legalise it just so that they can tax it more heavily.
I've been practising medicine in Australia for about 20 years now,
I think the drug itself should be decriminalised.
I prefer clean living and trying to use as little drugs as possible.
I mean, it's just a natural plant, so what's the harm in it? Yeah, they do worse things out there. I mean, cigarettes are worse, alcohol's worse, but I mean, sure, yeah, vote one.
If the party is elected, it doesn't mean cannabis will immediately be decriminalised.
I think there are people that are concerned in Canberra about whether or not it actually sends a big green light to kids and minors that it's okay to smoke marijuana. Yes, of course, there will always be people that say that marijuana has been a positive for them, but there is, I think, many people who believe that there is a dark side to marijuana and that we shouldn't brush it away as something that is a soft drug not to be concerned about.
You remember, no one has ever died from cannabis use, ever. Kids can go into the bathroom and get hold of mum's pills. Much more dangerous.
The Legalise Cannabis Party has existed in many forms since the 1990s, but it's yet to spark major change. And only time will tell if this election marks a turning point.
I think we need to make a statement, you know, and it's coming. It's coming. I don't think they can ignore us much longer.
I think medicinal marijuana, I'm all for. You hear too many stories of people who've been really positively impacted by that with chronic pain, all sorts of things, and I think that's a really good thing. We should be open to that. I also think decriminalisation is a good idea. The whole recreational thing, I'm not that passionate one way or the other because I'm not a weed smoker, you know.
Well,
so I'm
I walk past your dressing room every Sunday. It's been legal.
But like in the States, for example, in the States, they say that when you land at LAX, you can smell the weed everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I think driving is an issue. I do not think people should drive stoned. Although often you drive very slowly.
Yes.
But yeah,
I went to the Mardi Gras festival in Brisbane one year for a story, and we were there shooting all day, and the air was so thick with weed smoke. By the end of the day, we were driving back, and we stopped off at KFC.
Yeah.
And we both got a bucket of chicken, and we went, we shouldn't be driving. This isn't right.
But
we hadn't touched it.
But was it
literally around it.
Was there any riots at the festival? Were anyone being violent?
No, they weren't. But it can
No.
trigger psychosis in some people.
Psychosis is not good.
Yeah, that is true.
Thank God you're here, Hughes. That's really great information. Guys, let's go.
That's it?
The argument that it's probably less harmful than alcohol.
Yeah,
is a pretty strong argument.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.